growing support base for Mr. Peter Obi, who has been criticized heavily of lacking a proper structure, political structure to win a presidential election in Nigeria. Amidst these growing influences, what are the chances, real chances of the Labour Party, a party that is witnessed more than ever before this kind of influence at the center? Perhaps it has not gotten this kind of opportunity to fly its color in this magnitude in the last few years. And the issues raised in this election also get our attention ahead, in the last few days of the campaign. Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo, a lawyer, actor, and spokesperson of the Peter Obi presidential campaign organization. He joins me live here in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you, viewers at home, for joining us.
I guess you must be grinning in the waiting room when you were listening to the endorsement from someone like Mr. Babachir Lawal. How does that come to your principle and your party?
Well, it is very exciting. It is a confirmation to what I've always told you, that Peter Obi is the only option. And this was the conclusion that Babachir Lawal reached. That after deliberations, they came to the inevitable conclusion that the only option was Obi-Dati presidential ticket, because it represented the equity, justice, and fairness, which is the foundation that the competence, character, and capacity of these two gentlemen will be built on. You know, the reason why at least Atiku Abubakar was feeding them with ethnic jingoism, Northerners should support the North, when they have not even seen any benefit that their Northern Muslim brothers have been governing them. Whereas Tinubu has caused the greatest disaffection and division amongst them on religious line. Peter Obi went to the North and offered them immediate, decisive, and long-lasting security. Peter Obi offered them that farmers will go back to the farm and that the North will be turned to the next oil and gold. Peter Obi offered them that there will be a Marshall Plan for education that will make the federal government intervene in collaboration with the state government and international community to ensure that in the North you have free access, easy access, and affordable access to education that will transform North from being the region that has the greatest out of school children from school to becoming a wonderful section that is education compliant. Peter Obi offered them that there would be an incentivization of the resuscitation of the cotton and textile industry, which has been moribund, and that the value chain, cattle value chain, they will be obtaining their $1 billion share out of the $75 billion in 2025. Peter Obi offered them expansion of the infrastructure, solar energy, wasting in the North, etc. But above all, Peter Obi assured them of adequate representation and equitable appointments in all sectors of the economy. Equitable appointment meaning the Muslims and the Christians will be adequately represented in his government, because he is coming in under the foundation of equity, justice, and fairness.
You're a lawyer, so you understand the chapter 2 of the Constitution, where it talks about the values and the ethos that brought this nation together, and those who feel religion and ethnicity has been used as tool to divide this country and its politics for far too long. How does it make you feel as a person, knowing full well that these two tools again had reared its head in our politics just as the election is coming?
Oh yes, that is the sad point of it. Initiated by Atiku Abubakar and Bola Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar could not even allow a tweet that was written for him, like every other thing is written for him and Bola Tinubu, including their manifestos, which they do not even know the content. He could not even allow the tweet that condemned the burning alive of a young Northern Christian lady, Deborah Samuel, just because of religious bigotry. How do you expect these people to support you? Bola Tinubu came out publicly to say, no Northern Christian has the capability, the competence, the capacity to be his deputy. What an insult. They have balkanized this nation into ethnic and religious divisions.
So you do not support anybody using those tools?
I resigned from APC. Basically, the immediate cause was the Muslim ticket. In a nation that has more than 100 million Christians.
But what about...
how do you...
Just a moment. Your candidate has been going to churches.
Yes.
And those who are criticized here and said, look, this is what we're talking about. Those who are using the churchy and the mosque and the ethnic tools and those kind of tools to impress the people. Should we use those kind of tools anyways in our politics?
My candidate is not using any tool. He's a Christian. He goes to churches. Dati Baba Ahmed is a Muslim. He goes to mosques. We are everywhere. Who will go to the church in APC? That is the whole idea of participation, involvement, giving people a sense of belonging.
Should you be using the church platforms to preach for your party or your candidacy?
No.
That's the question.
You go to your church. And that when he goes to church,
I'm asking
he goes to worship
question,
God.
I mean, because
yes.
Equity, I mean, you have explained that tonight, that you don't think that ethnicity and religion should be brought into our politics. But the question is that your candidate is seen going to churches also. Should we be using these religious platforms at all for any form of politicking?
Well, you're missing the point. Democracy is a representative government. Christians should be represented. Muslims should be represented in accordance with our constitution, that you don't leave anybody behind. Peter Obi goes to church to worship God, does not go to church to campaign for politics. Just like Dati Ahmed goes to mosque to worship God. And that is the beauty of participation. So everybody should be actively integrated according to the constitution of Nigeria. So in politics, it's about representation. Then going to church is about worshiping God. In APC, nobody will go to church. In the presidency, to worship God, unfortunately. And it's unacceptable to Nigeria. The Nigerian constitution, the Nigerian people. And the Northern Christians are rightly rejecting that ticket. And not just the Northern Christians, even the Northern Muslims. Because in Islam, the worship of God, there are 4 reasons for the writing of the Quran, but I'll just take one, which is the promulgation of the worship of God and essentials of justice. In Islam, it is not allowed that you should denigrate or destroy the integrity of any religion or any party. In any multinational, multi-religious society, Islam welcomes justice. No true Muslim will support APC Muslim ticket, and you can quote me on that.
Let's look at what this means. If you can summarize what the endorsement for the APC was said. Look, Babachir Lawal and his friends, politically speaking, in fact, they've criticized that some of them are not even capable of winning their local government for the party in any ways. They've used the party platform for their own gains. So they really, according to them, they said they don't care to respond to the agitation of the Babachir Lawal and his friends who are agitated about his same faith ticket.
Good. Now, you know what? I heard one spokesperson of APC sitting down here denigrating the Secretary General of Northern Elders Forum, that they do not even have up to 10% of the Northern support. In Labour Party, Peter Obi wants to carry everybody along. We need that 10% because we don't want to leave anybody behind. Let me tell you, the greatest undoing of the APC candidate is in his unguided and unsalutary method of trying to play God. Remember, we talk about the Lord of Bodleian, and he has an uncanny relationship with the king of Babylon, the city of corruption. Recall that Nebuchadnezzar said that he built the hanging gardens of Babylon, not God. And God warned him, be humble and give respect to me, and he refused. And God struck him and he became a human monkey. This is a presidential candidate who is arrogating to himself that he is God. He said, I single-handedly made Buhari president. That's a blasphemy in Quran and in Christianity. That was the first time he fell out with Babachir Lawal. Babachir Lawal said, don't play God. You are arrogant. And that was what fell out between him and Rauf Aregbesola Ogbeni, who said, you are playing God. And it is not supposed to be so. Remember what Rauf said when the Osun election was concluded. He was abroad. And he said, he quoted the Bible. All powers are ordained by God. And he giveth it to whoever he wishes, including the basest of men. But look at Bola Tinubu claiming that he is God. Whoever votes for Bola Tinubu is not a true Christian or a true Muslim, because he has blasphemed the Quran and blasphemed the Bible. In Quran, they said, all powers belong to Allah, and Allah giveth it to whomsoever he wishes. If President Buhari supports Bola Tinubu, he is not a true Muslim, because Bola Tinubu has said he single-handedly made Buhari president, which is a blasphemy in Islam. That is what is killing them. They don't have respect for people. Babachir Lawal told you that Tinubu is already feeling that he is the president because he is playing God. In the whole Yoruba land, he said it is his turn when it comes to Yoruba land. Who told him that? Ayo Adebanjo, the revered leader of Afenifere, was in Ibadan, the capital of the Southwest, to tell the Southwest that Peter Obi is the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So wherever you go to, in any pool you want to describe, Peter Obi is the chosen person, because he's a man of character, capacity, and competence, and his candidacy is built on a foundation of equity, fairness, and justice.
I mean, so aside this, the endorsement, and I saw what happened yesterday in Ibadan, was that outing an impressive one as far as you're concerned?
Very fantastic. I've not seen such level of loyalty. Remember, our jet was grounded. Those people were there from 9 a.m. in the morning, and by 5 p.m. they were still eager to wait for their next president. I was so pleasantly surprised.
How was your jet grounded?
Oh, it was grounded for regulatory reasons. There was unfortunate issue of the documentation not updated the way it ought to be updated, and that is coming from the vendor, because this is between the vendor and the federal government. And you recall that my principal, one of his cardinal points on the 7-point agenda, is restructuring through effective legal and institutional reforms that will prevent corruption, maintain rule of law, and ensure effective governance. So if it is regulatory, it means there might be an order or a law or a rule which may have not been confirmed to. And my principle will be the last to encourage any desecration of the law, no matter how small, even though it was a political ambush. Because why wait until the morning of our proceeding to Ibadan before you ground our jet on a documentary thing that you should have just called?
So you think it's political?
There is a political witch hunt under the regulatory reason, because you could have just called them and dialogued over it. When you're dealing with a political opponent, you have to be very careful. But we're not complaining, because we are a rule of law party, and my principal is not willing to breach any law. When he comes to governance, he's going to strictly adhere to the rule of law. So I am not going to tell you that my principal will not do the same thing if he is the president, but he is going to be mindful that when dealing with political opponents, you have to give them notice. You don't have
my guest yesterday, and this is a way of us just summarizing and wrapping up this conversation. My guest yesterday said that considering what the governor of Anambra said about your candidate, that no one will buy him for I wanted to quote verbatim what he said.
Yeah.
But if you watch the program, you understand exactly what the man said.
Yes, I do.
Based on the testimony of the governor of Anambra State, that, and he has said it in the article that he released, that in some way that Peter Obi is helping Bola Tinubu to win the election.
He said he's challenging Mbafo. So bikono rap Nwambafo ogbala asele jebe na afia.
English is that
you know what? Nwambafo is those local gossips. That's why you hear Mbeke Mbafo, local gossips. So he said he is Nwambafo, meaning the son of a local gossip. So allow him to continue his gossip in Afo market.
As a governor of the state.
That is because he reduced himself to scavenging on the excreta of the social media.
Doesn't he have the right to express his opinion?
His opinion
about the state of the race.
His opinion
you
must
can
be
as well say that your candidate will win against other candidates. That's you have a right and a freedom to express your opinion.
That is not even the problem. The problem, when you were questioning him, was he said investment meant nothing. We were not talking about that. Was what generated the issue.
What if that is the case?
No, it is not the case, because in his own letter, in paragraph 14, 15, 16, he was eulogizing his own investment. How can your own investment be good and another person's investment is bad? That's political witch hunt. That is double standards. That's lacking in character. That is lacking in wisdom. He's a man in search of character, in lack of character, and in lack of wisdom, by a professor, or his name or her name is Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
Let's wrap up now, and in just about 15 or 10 seconds. If you look at how your candidate, I'm very sure that you're already sitting and analyzing how he's going to win. If you're analyzing how Peter Obi is going to win this election, by what margin and where do you think he will put the surprise?
Oh, well, like I said, he's becoming a phenomenon. He's becoming the Nigerian candidate. When I sat here and told you we have all the structures, people were saying that I was just jiving. Today is no longer a jive. The whole Muslims are with them. Yes, because the whole Muslims cannot understand why a Tinubu can no longer even cognitively align his thoughts to make coherent sense. Would you want such a man who is blah blah, Buhari, church rat, eating unpoisoned Holy Communion? God bless PDAPC, a non-existent party. Would you want such a man who has become a food for comedians and creating comic relief to stand shoulder by shoulder to other presidents in the world? No, it is not acceptable.
We're out of time. But thank you so much, Kenneth, for coming tonight. Kenneth Okonkwo is the spokesperson of the Labour Party. Thank you so much indeed for coming tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, if you just watched this video with me, I know that by now you'll be laughing at how Kenneth Okonkwo was able to present his facts on these channels, and the audacity, the force with which he was speaking and hammering those points was actually very, very, very exciting, and I believe he has done well. Likewise, Seun Okinbaloye has done well in interviewing him, and it's a very nice time on the show. Right now, I would like to know your opinion on what he has said so far. Has Seun, as Kenneth, been able to strike home the point, and has he been able to really address the matter very well, the matter about Babachir Lawal's recommendation of Peter Obi as president? Also, is he right about the fact that Tinubu and APC made a mistake by producing a Muslim ticket? Are they right by that? Is it a good thing to do? In Nigeria, there are diverse religions. There is the Muslim religion, the Christian religion, and some other traditional religions. Should all of these religions not be adequately represented in the pools, in the public offices? Are they not supposed to be well represented so that there will be equity and fairness? So as for me, I think it's the right thing to do to represent all religions, all faiths, all ethnicity, and all tribal inclinations across the country. It's not just for the Muslim. The country is not just for Muslims. It's not just for Christians alone. It's not just for any group of people, any ethnic or any tribe alone. So there should be equal representation at all levels. So that's my opinion, and I think that's what Kenneth is trying to say in this video. Also, what is your own opinion about this? Is Tinubu and APC right about their presentation of a Muslim ticket? And is Babachir Lawal also doing the right thing by endorsing Peter Obi, who is not even in his party? Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll come your way next time. Stay blessed. Bye bye.